Welcome to the big show. Today we're going to talk about the 5 ways to retain your best technicians. We're going to review what we're thankful for and much, much more coming up on this edition of Service Drive Revolution. Holiday week, everybody. We from the bottom of our hearts want to say that what we're most grateful for is you.
Hands down.
Yeah.
You make this whole thing so fun.
Some of the best, sweetest, most talented clients, friends. Yeah, clients is always a weird thing because I always feel like friends.
Especially when we get together and do events like the Top Dog and everything like that. And those meetings, like, you feel differently about those people after you get to spend a couple of days with them. Just see how amazing that they are.
So I'm not going up to Washington for Thanksgiving. I'm having Thanksgiving at my house. I've invited some random people.
Am I one of those random people?
You're one of those random people.
I have one request.
Okay. Whatever you want, Princess Christian.
I would like to say grace.
Oh, no.
You said whatever I want, Princess.
Except for that.
My Thanksgiving one's a doozy.
No.
I bet if I called your mom.
If you're new to the show, or maybe you just missed me taking Christian to my mom's for the little summer soiree.
Your mom, is she a fan or not of my prayer?
Huge fan.
Yeah.
But it's ridiculous. Christian thinks, so here's the thing that always, since I was a kid, I had a problem with this. There's so many contradictions about God. So does it not somewhere in the Bible say that God knows everything?
Yeah. Omnipresent, I think
So he knows everything. So Christian feels like when he says grace, he's got to describe everything on the table, everything that's happened, everything that's going to happen, the ingredients of everything. And so just imagine at Thanksgiving with the spread that's going to be there. Well, this would be a 30-minute prayer.
Yeah, I was going to say if we started, like, if you want to eat at 2:30, I'll pray at 2. And we'll be done by the time.
First of all, my mom isn't there, so we don't have to say grace.
I think we can.
You know what I like to do? Just go around and say what you're most thankful for.
Oh, I think we should do that too. Like, maybe we need to start this thing at 1:30 and then dinner at 2:30. Okay, so.
Do you say grace for leftovers?
I do an evening prayer, whether it's leftovers or not. I've done a couple of really good ones lately.
Poor Claudia.
Yeah, she lasts for the most part, but I can tell. Like, when she's really hungry is probably when I do the longest prayer.
Man, I was so hungry that one time.
Yeah.
You would not stop.
It got to you.
The more everybody was into it, the more you just double down. You love the attention. You would starve to death.
I was
as long as people are laughing.
That's not unlike my life, actually. It's so funny.
I was dying. I was going into...
Speaking of food. So I was at a restaurant the other day, and I was just sitting. This table, like right next to us, was this gentleman, and waiter walks up, takes his order, and the guy's like, "I'd like half a Caesar salad," and the waiter's like, "Sir, I'm sorry, we do have 2 salads. We have a small salad and a large salad. Would you like the small salad since you're ordering a half a Caesar?" He's like, No, I want half a Caesar salad." And he's like, "Well, I'm assuming that the small might be half of what a large is, so it's probably really, really close to that. How's that sound? A Caesar salad will be exactly what you want." The guy's like, "Nope, I need a half Caesar salad." And so the waiter, because they don't like to tell the customer no, so he's like, let me go check with the chef." So he stops taking the order, and he walks into the back to go talk to the chef. But what he doesn't realize is that the customer has followed him.
Ooh.
So he gets back into the kitchen, doesn't realize the guy's behind him, and he goes to the chef. He says, "Hey, there's an idiot in the dining room that wants to order a half a Caesar salad." And he turns around and he sees the customer, and he says, "And this guy wants the other half."
Good save.
So yeah, it was a great save. So the guy goes back to his seat. The chef's like, yeah, of course we'll make a half Caesar salad. And then the customer walks away, and the chef goes to the waiter. He's like, how did you come up with that so fast? That's really, really quick thinking. And he's like, yeah, where I come from, you gotta be quick on your toes. And he's like, oh, where are you from? And he's like, I'm from Toronto, Canada. And at first, like, no, that's not true. And he's like, and everybody in Canada is either a hockey player or a hooker. I mean, Patricia told me, lady of the night. That's editing purposes. So either a hockey player or a lady of the night. And then the chef goes to the waiter. He says, my wife's from Canada. And then the waiter goes, what team did she play for? Quick thinking. Witty. You got to be witty these days.
Oh, man. Poor Canada. The butt of a Christian joke.
Sometimes they are. Not always. But I thought that...
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's funny. With that being said, what's in the news?
Okay, so a little bit of a visual aid. Kevin's going to put a little inlay on this so you guys can see on the YouTube channel what we're talking about. But there's I got a first look, the LA Auto Show just wrapped, and one of the cars that was outlined was the 2024 Ford Mustang GT California Special. I want to see what do you think of that?
What makes it special?
I'll go into it in detail. I just wanted you to take a look at it
I
first.
gotta put my glasses on, Christian.
That's okay.
I can't really see. It looks like a Mustang, bro.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Convertible. Do you like the little blue in the front?
Not really.
Okay, good. Sometimes Chris and I differ on
It's not
our...
great.
Okay, so I thought it was a decent looking vehicle.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're coming up on their 60th anniversary.
What makes this California? Is it electric or what is the deal?
Could I have the article back so I can read my notes?
60th anniversary.
Coming up. That Mustang's been around for a minute. So it's got special seats on the inside, the leather, the embossing, if you will.
You couldn't give me that car.
Yeah. It converts into a Breaking Bad RV if you hit the right button. That was a joke. That wasn't real.
I laughed.
Thank you. But yeah, so making a little bit of a move. There had been rumors that they were going to do away with, I think, the Camaro and the Mustang were going to go away. So looks like they're sticking around for now. So yeah.
I think that Ford and GM are kind of like the movie business where they are having a hard time creating anything original. So they just go back to the action movies, the Marvel. It's all the same movie.
Yeah,
it's
so this one is modeled after a 68 Mustang.
Yeah.
You're right on. That's great. Ironically, so we're up to another reboot. And I was just going to see if we could get a little bit of company funds for this. So Ford, Yeehaw is the name of this article. Yeehaw, Ford expands Bronco off-rodeo driving school to non-owners. So you can go to a driving school to learn how to be an off-roader. And I feel like we should invest in me going to do that.
Sure.
So yeah, after 2 successful years of providing you...
Just the only thing is you got to have a GoPro on your head the whole time. Like those kind that stick up.
Yeah, so when we go upside down, we can record the whole thing.
Just the whole, yeah.
There's no way that Bronco makes it out alive with me driving it off-road. But it's a 10-hour experience. So you can take your Bronco Sport, Bronco Rack.
10 hours in one day?
Yeah, it looks that way.
Ugh.
You can also
I'm too old for any of that.
Yeah, you can do the 4-hour version. You might make it through that.
You tell me 2 hours and I'm like, I don't know. It's an hour getting there.
I don't know. I think it'd be fun. So the course is out in Utah. But I kind of like that. So if you own a Bronco, you can go do the rodeo program. But if you don't own a Bronco, like I bet it'd be fun to take a Jeep on this thing. But yeah. So that's
I'm gonna need the new Range Rover pretty soon.
What are you gonna do with your old one? Trade it?
Yeah. So I'll have Winston too.
No, you don't want to come up with a different. You don't want to call it Churchill instead of Winston.
No, it's called Winston Churchill now. I just call him Winston for short.
Okay, Winston the second. Which dog does Winston most resemble?
Lola.
You really think so?
Yeah, it's white.
Yeah, it's true. A little stocky.
Dogs are getting old. Sucks. They're slow.
Sometimes
The
I
worst.
sometimes I don't ask you about the dogs because I'm afraid of what you're going to say, to be honest with you.
Like one's gone. Yeah, they're slow moving.
But yeah, so that was it for the news. Send me to school in a new Mustang that you don't think is nice looking. Great. That went well.
I mean, compared to what you're driving, you would trade what you're driving for that?
No.
So then you're just being nice.
It's also 20 grand less than what I have. So I think for a $40,000 convertible is pretty good.
Maybe. I don't.
Yeah.
It's still
Okay.
It's still a Mustang.
I wouldn't trade my car for it. You're right. I like the look of that. I had a Mustang once. It was fun.
On a Pinto.
It was a manual transmission. I had the most ridiculous car I ever had was a Ford Escort. Remember those things? I had the Ford Escort GT, which was no faster than the rest of the Ford Escorts out there. It just had a spoiler.
My grandfather. So I had a car, a Chevy Citation, and then it blew up again. And my grandfather went to a government auction and bought a government Ford Pinto that was owned by, I don't know, the post office or something. And I think he bought it for like $500. And then he's like, "Hey, here you go, son. I got you that." And I was like, "Grandpa, I'm not driving that." And he was so mad.
That you wouldn't drive the Pinto?
I think I drove it for, a month. And then I traded it and a bunch of other stuff for a Malibu. But a muscle car Malibu, not the,
Yeah, the nice
not the
looking
rental
one.
car Malibu.
Right.
The old big.
Yeah, I remember my dad. Actually, we had dueling Escorts for a little while, and I remember every time I was in my dad's Escort, he'd put it in reverse, and then he'd always say, "This takes me back."
Yeah. Might be where you get your sense of humor.
Could be.
How long did your dad take to say grace?
Oh no, his grace is fat. It's right up your alley. You want me to go through it really quickly?
Sure.
God is good. God is great. Let's sing for our food. Amen. Like that was his prayer.
Yeah. I support that.
Yeah. It's
What do you think his take was on saying grace for leftovers?
Maybe just like the initials of the word he's trying to say, probably. I don't know. There was also times I remember him where if no one else was at the table and he was just doing it, he literally did this. He would go, like he made the noise.
That's fun.
Like he was just going through the motions.
5 ways to retain your best technicians, Christian.
Everyone's like, what does that have to do with technicians?
Nothing.
That's why they call it banter. I've got a list of 5. Do you?
No. We're going on your list.
You're going on my list? Okay. I wonder if I should put this in any kind of order.
Yeah, just start at the one on the top.
Okay, so these aren't necessarily in any order of importance. They're just as they kind of came to me. All right, you ready for the first way to retain your techs, your best techs? Don't make them ask for a raise.
Yeah, that's great. Like what do you think? Every quarter you should do a formal review?
Yeah.
And then once or twice a year they should get a raise. The thing that we found is smaller raises more frequently do better than larger ones less frequently.
Yeah, because what happens just with any kind of an employee is the anticipation of a raise sometimes makes people not look for other jobs. Oh, I know I'm going to get another raise. I know I got this comment or whatever it is. I think there's a lot to that when it comes to employee retention, is that they've got to have something to look forward to. In addition to the don't make them ask for a raise, I think that telegraphing when the raise points are is really, really great. And then if you gave like either behavior or performance based surprise raises on top of the expected raise, you'll really retain a lot of your people.
You know what else has worked really good for me? Oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Probably the most important thing, what you said, I want to reiterate it. It doesn't have to be a $5 an hour raise. It literally can be a smaller increment but it's the fact that they're getting a thing every couple of months. I think that's the right way to do it. Lead the market.
Doing a Christmas accrual.
Okay.
So
Let me see if that's on my thing. No.
So this is 6.
Yeah.
No, this really is a part of them not asking for a raise. It has the same effect. Is 25 or 50 cents they put in for every hour they flag, and then you match it.
Yep.
And at the end of the year, they have a little Christmas money that mama don't know about. But same thing, they're not going to quit when they lose what you would be matching.
Yeah, which I think around August, you tell them where they're on pace to get from their match.
When you do it every paycheck.
Yes, that's great. I love that idea. That's kind of like what I've got with number 4. So I'll get to my version of that, but I think the Christmas thing makes a ton of sense, and it's more encompassing than mine was of everybody. Second thing I've got here is recognition. So their shop is their home away from home. So make their toolbox area look like their place they want to stay, and they're not going anywhere. So like, I'm a big fan of, I know it sounds crazy, but like banners, if somebody's a Ford certified master tech or whatever it is, like stuff that hangs like, this is the home of Bill Smith. I think that anything like that, like making that area permanent, is a good sign. And like, you just want to recognize, I've seen a lot of our clients are doing like 10-year plaques, 15-year plaques, 20-year plaques, putting pictures of the employees that have been for a long time in the trophy case in the showroom. So I think all that stuff is really, really important. But the recognition gets you just as far as the money. In a lot of cases, just letting them know that you appreciate it. What do you think about that one?
It's great.
Okay. This one might be the most controversial. Buy them car.
Explain.
So it's not unlike the thought of like the demo thing, but in a lot of cases, you can lease a technician a car for a fairly reasonable amount of money, and where they're a source for having a vehicle. So if it's $500 a month for a lease, then you can do whatever where you reimburse them for the $500 or something like that. But
yeah, I've done apartments before.
Oh, I wouldn't hesitate to use that as a recruiting strategy for sure. If you're trying to do a reload from somebody out of town.
Or if it's in a area where they can't afford housing or they don't want to live there. Like I've had places where technicians fly in for 2 weeks and then fly home for 2 weeks.
Oh, up north, I bet.
Yeah. Because it's the oil fields and no wives and kids want to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's freaking cold.
So they already have a home somewhere else. They're coming in and just working.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Like a little catastrophe team. That's good stuff. All right. So number 3 is lease them a car. Then number 4, this is kind of like what Chris was saying with the Christmas bonus, but the same thing, it can be a longer term thing, is starting a college fund for their kids where the employer doesn't match. So, it sounds like just a little bit, but like 50 cents an hour over a 5 or 6 year time period probably ends up to be a bunch of dough. And if you pull it from their pay for the 50 cents, it's a savings account that they forget that they've got. And then you match it on the 50 cents for an hour. Like, even though colleges are expensive, that would be a great way for technicians to stay around and stay loyal.
Yeah, for sure.
And then my last one is probably the most important one, but it's the most abused, is you have to stop and listen to them about whatever it is that they've got going on. So I think the number one way to retain your techs is to
make them feel human.
Yes. Take them to lunch.
Make them feel important.
Yep. Give them an opportunity that their voice is heard. And then anytime someone, I think I remember this when I was a service manager, that no matter what the concern was, I probably wasn't going to, put a free vending machine in the tech lounge. But if they asked for it, I was going to get back to them. And I think that that's a thing that happens most often with technicians, is they'll voice their concerns and then nobody responds back to the concerns. They're like, oh yeah, okay, I'll check into it, but they never do. And then they just stop asking because they don't think that anyone cares. So even if you're going to tell them, no, I'm not going to do it, you have to get back to them. So you have to listen.
Yeah. I think too, though, that what happens there is then you end up learning stuff like
more than you know.
Yeah.
I think
their perspective usually isn't wrong.
Yeah.
You might not understand it or know what to do, but it's not wrong.
I think when I got better at listening to my techs is actually when we started to fix stuff in the shop that I didn't know was broken. Because they'll work around it if they don't think anybody cares. But I remember seeing a lift held up with, like the controls were held up with a bungee cord that I never noticed until we started having communications, and I was out there with the techs, and like I'd say hi and good morning to the techs in the morning, but I wasn't rack inspecting. And turned out the guy had been working for 2 months with a messed up rack and just didn't think anybody cared to fix it.
It's good.
But,
okay, go through them again.
Okay, so don't make them ask for a raise. Recognition, remember it's their home away from home. Buy them a car. Start their kids a college fund. And most importantly, what you want to do is you want to listen to them.
Yeah, make them feel special. That's great. Well, we appreciate you spending this time with us. Once again, we're very grateful for you. And I hope you have a great time with your family this week and have a chance to kind of think about what you're grateful for and start thinking about 2024. And we'll see you next time on Service Drive Revolution.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of Service Drive Revolution. We're uploading new stuff every day, so make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss out. If you have a question you'd like us to answer on the show, call 8333-ASK-SDR and we'll answer your question on the show. That's 8333-ASK-SDR. For special deals on our books and training, head over to offers.chriscollinsinc.com. Now that's offers.chriscollinsinc.com. I'm Chris Collins, and I'll see you in the next video.